Okay, hello everyone. I am Lisa Twilley. I'm the director of the Women's Business Center here at Maryland Capital Enterprises. And thank you for joining us today on this beautiful day. I know there's lots of places you could be outside, but thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bernard Carter. I am the loan officer business consultant also for Maryland Capital Enterprises. And we again appreciate, as Lisa stated, that you're on this afternoon. You could be doing something else outside enjoying the warm, beautiful weather. But we are here and wanting to make you more knowledgeable of who we are, what we have to offer to the Marylanders alike on the Eastern Shore, as well as in Annapolis, uh, in regards to Anne Arundel County, as well as Baltimore City and Baltimore County.
So as Bernard said, just give you some information about us. We are a nonprofit CDFI that helps communities by supporting small businesses. We help businesses with business consulting, marketing consulting, training workshops such as this. We have I'll talk about a few other workshops that we have soon, but we have been around since 1998. Our home office is here in Salisbury, and we have another office in Baltimore. We assist entrepreneurs with anything from the business plan to first steps of getting started. We also do small business loans, and Bernard's going to talk about those in more detail in just a bit. We also have a women's business center here and in Baltimore as well. And these are some of our training workshops. First steps of starting your own business, basic business finances, social media marketing, small business taxes. I'm just kind of jumping around because I know you guys can read them. But we offer tons of workshops. All of our workshops are free. We do offer an annual women's business conference every year in March. And we always try to do it in March for Women's History Month. And so we just had it here at the Civic Center. It was great because we were able to have it in person again this year, which was awesome because it's 2 years with one. Last year we did it virtually, and then of course 2 years we didn't have it due to COVID. So it was great to be able to come together again in person, and we have vendors, we have keynote speakers. So that's something, if you ladies like to mark your calendars for next year. Right now we just did get the date for March 15th. So make sure you mark your calendars for that. And if we can be of any assistance here, please let us know. I'm going to put my information and Bernard's information in the chat. But I am going to let him talk more about our lending and the type of lender we are. So go ahead, Bernard, if you'd like to take it away.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And I saw that the question was asked, what Civic Center? It is the Salisbury Civic Center here in Salisbury, Maryland. Wycomico County is where that conference is held each year. And it's very easy to find within our town. It's on the street called Civic Avenue, so you can't miss it, right off of Route 50. But just again, thank you all for coming on and attending this Zoom call today to let you know what is there to be offered on a lender financing end in the state of Maryland. We cover 9 counties on the Eastern Shore, from Cecil County all the way down to Worcester County, and we also cover 3 counties on the, 2 counties on the Western Shore, as well as Baltimore City. And those 2 counties are Anne Arundel County and Baltimore County, along with Baltimore City. Maryland Capital Enterprises, MCE, as you can see here, we have the certifications in regards to the SBA, intermediary microlender, the U.S. Department of Treasury intermediary microlender, as well as the USDA. The USDA has a program called the Business and Industry Loan Program, where they offer loan guarantees, and it's somewhat similar to the SBA, but we have a direct, close relationship with them, being able to facilitate loans to that end. And then we have also, of course, the state of Maryland, the DHCD and Department of Commerce and the Mary Microlender. You know, we provide counseling training assistance in, developing, as Lisa said a little earlier, your business plans, and more. We also do, we do loans in the range of 5,000 up to $150,000, being again that we're a micro lender and we're a nonprofit organization. The $5,000 loans on the small end is what we call a credit builder. And when we say credit builder, whereas in you would obtain a loan in that amount from us that would allow it to be a credit builder for your credit. So it's not a matter of, some people think when they hear credit builder, at times it's like I get a loan $5,000, pay off whatever credit, bills or credit cards you have or anything. No, it's a credit builder where you obtain a loan of that amount through us, and it assists that loan recipient, yourself, in regards to building credit, to that capacity, because sometimes people have a challenge, even if they've got a loan, loans outstanding that could be $500 or $1,000, $2,000, and a combination of the sort, and you just want to put them all together, being able to pay them off and have one loan payment a month. We offer a credit builder in that regard. And we look at a business loan that's anything more than $10,000, where you are whether it be a new entrepreneur, new business owner, where you're starting a new business entity, and it could be categorically almost in any particular area of business. We are here to assist, specifically based upon what the organization was built upon, was for women and persons of color. So one of the individuals that was the founding members found it that people were coming to her she did financial planning, and they had challenges when they walked into the banks, specifically women and persons of color, and said that they, one, either was not recognized, or two, they had challenges getting approval, and they were not properly prepared. And they just went in, they filled out an application, but when it came down to presenting their business, they didn't have an executive summary and or business plan. They didn't have cash flow or projections with a business plan in place. And we provide those services, as Lisa stated earlier. We provide those services complimentary. So when you go in, we want to make sure that they were wanting to make sure that they were properly prepared. But then in turn, they looked back and said, we could offer these services where we could get funding to that end, so they don't have to go to a bank, and having the capital to be able to facilitate the small micro loan type situations for these types of recipients. Now, depending on the size of the loan, the terms can be anywhere from 1 to 2 years on the small side for the credit builder. That's we try to keep it under that capacity, where the interest rate will be anywhere from 5 to 12%. Collateral obviously would not be required, and all owners with 20% or more interest must personally guarantee the loan. And we do have an application fee process. The application fee for that the credit builder is $50, and then we also have a $25 credit report fee. That's per individual, and that's paid upfront. And those are fees. It's not that we collect those. That's what we are charged via the actual credit reporting agency. So it's not like we're making money off of those fees. And then each month, based upon those loans being paid back, we do an ACH debit, and that's required for all loans, not just in regards to the credit builder, but that's required for all loans, whether you get $5,000 from us or you get $150,000 potentially from our organization. And obviously, well, not always obviously, but there are no prepayment penalties. So if you wanted to pay that loan off early, you are allowed to do so, and there are no penalties in that regard. We do a semi-annual site visit, which is actually getting ready to be turned into an annual site visit to your business, to make sure that everything is in operations in full, on the up and up. to that end, and also just to see how you're doing as a business person. Is your business, still in the same place, or is it growing? And if, we are here to assist you in every way that we can to make sure that your business is a success. So not just where we're lending out capital, but we want to make sure that operationally things are going well. So then if you need to continue to expand, we are still here for you to offer those services financially to make sure that your needs are met. And again, ending, going forward in regards to the eligibility criteria, um, we don't want people to be skittish about coming to us because, first and foremost, yes, we are a lender, but we are not like a bank in regards to their criteria. Because, when you walk in a bank, they have a specific stringent criteria. We have one as well, as you see here, where, we have a loan committee that does review all of our loans. They're a volunteer loan committee that is comprised of bankers and business leaders within our community, and the communities also, banking and business communities as well as on the Western Shore, that have uh, very astute backgrounds, and they are people that understand, of course, how the system works. So we've got some reputable individuals in that regard. The applicants here, as you can see, are judged on clearly established a business idea, thoroughness of a business plan. Because one of the things we notice, of course, that you have to have a vision for what you're doing. So if you have a concept idea, whatever that may be, make sure you write it down. Make sure that you have a business plan and or executive summary of sorts, not and or, but or business executive summary. Sometimes you don't need a full fledged plan, but we need to have some type of executive summary that shows the actual concept of the idea, the vision of the plan, whole 9 yards. And in that regard as well, on our website, you can go. We have a business plan template that you can go by that can assist you. So if you think you have to hire a financial planner of sorts to assist you with your plan, you don't have to necessarily. We have a template on our website at marylandcapital.org that will help to navigate you through even that particular process as well. And we judge you on the fact of having experience in the field and area that you're going into, because we want to see that what you're talking about specifically, in that product, good, or service of business that you're offering categorically. We look at the strength of your cash flow, of course, and the strength of collateral that you may have that may is possibly one of the conditions in regards to the lending practices that we have. And we like for every recipient also to have at least reasonable credit, and when they say reasonable credit, that is credit is at least in good and consistent for the last 12 months. We don't, go off, of the actual score. We do, but we don't in regards to the stringency of how a generated bank system does based upon your application. We weigh everything. So we look at, as it states here, the consistency for the last 12 months of your payment history. No bankruptcies in the last 2 years, and no tax debt, without a payment plan. So you may have the tax debt, but as long as you have a payment plan, we are flexible and amenable and willing to potentially work with you. And then when you look at it too, in regards to the general economic conditions, for what the conditions are for that particular venture, what's the market saying for that particular area of business in the industry. And then also too, you have the ability, of course, to repay the loan. We can supply you with a copy of this presentation, yes, if you so ask. So, and can the applicant get back into the workforce if they not need to make the business work? That's also in regards to the ability to repay the loan. So we are flexible, more flexible than what a traditional bank and or lending source would be. We look at those that have had challenges, in regards to going to the bank. And sometimes we also would like to obtain If you've gone to the bank and they've denied you, we'd like to obtain also a denial letter in that regard. So then that shows that, we are going to do our best to make it happen for you. It's not a promise or a guarantee, but we're more amenable and flexible to work with you in this capacity. I think, there we go. Now, the application documents are in regards to the form aspect, where we support and help. We do what is called a client intake form. When you go to our website, marylandcapital.org, there's 3 realms of the application process online. We have what is called the client intake form. That client intake form is for us to get to know you on the surface. It just pretty much asks you to put in your name, your address, a little bit on your history, in reference to if you've had a business before, and or if you're in business currently, or if this is something new. So then we at least can get a little bit of information on you. And then after we get that client intake form filled out by you being a male or female, based upon, because we have the W Women's Business Center, which you see here are Lisa Twilley. I like to call her Lisa Twiley, but it's Lisa Twilley, will be the one person that you will identify with in this regards for our Women's Business Center that you apply for. Once you get that intake form done, we then in turn have something else called the personal information supplement. That personal information supplement then in turn allows us to get to know you a little bit more in depth financially, to let us know about your business idea and concept, what you're looking to do in that realm based upon the amount of money that you're requesting as well. And we then in turn, once we get that personal information supplement filled out, it also requests that we see at least 2 years of taxes. And then after we get that personal information supplement, we also then have you go back online and fill out then the business loan application, whether it be for a new business entity or an existing business entity. And any new business loan is only up to $35,000 is what we do in regards to a new business loan. Anything beyond that is for those pretty much that have already been or in business to that end. And then that business loan application gets the full review in regards to us seeing your financials beyond your taxes. It's also then bringing us with supporting documents based upon having a business plan, cash flow projections that will be for at least 2 years. We also have an individual, if you're not familiar in regards to putting those together, we have an individual here in our office that will assist you in that regards, a gentleman by the name of Marvin Jenkins. For the ladies who are he's part of our Women's Business Center, he assists in that regards. And then we also have a statement of how this loan will help you. And then we also have a portion of it on our website where we get an explanation of your credit, because we also get individuals who sometimes are, they have no clue in regards to where their credit history is. And then once we then have credit pulled, we allow you to have an explanation. If there's any challenges, we allow you to give us an explanation of credit, which is a little bit different from the banks, because the banks, they'll ask you, but they don't pretty much give you, a form in reference to or writing out explaining it. Then we also provide profit and loss statement, type of form for the, last 2 years, which we also obtained from you, but we can assist you in. And we ask for your, most recent quarterly balance sheet. And then of course your business federal taxes and personal federal taxes for the past 2 years. Normally, companies and or financial institutions ask for 3 years, but we only ask for 2 years. But we do ask for 3 months of personal as well as business corporate bank statements, because we then in turn, once that business application process is started based on the loan amount request that you're asking for, we have to, of course, we treat it in regards to where we are similar to a bank, because we need to know what you've looked like over the course of the past 2 years. because that in turn gives us, uh, a whole photo of what, your past has looked like financially and what, you're looking to go into based upon what you're projecting also for the future of what this business entity is going to make, being hence allowing you to be able to, of course, pay back what you're requesting in the loan. We also, at times, based upon the business, we ask for reference letters. So that means, as you know what reference letters are, it's obvious, based upon anybody that would speak well of you, based upon speak well of your business, your experience. It's not a requirement nor condition, but we do prefer it. It's optional, but we do prefer it. And then whatever other relevant attachments that are needed, like if you're going into a situation and the business wise, you've got a proposed lease, estimate, invoices, contracts that will be working in your favor based upon your loan request as well. So if you say, for instance, I've got somebody currently right now who is going into a certain area of business categorically, and it's an area that we normally don't lend in, but the positive note for this individual is that he's got 5 corporate contracts that will make it more palatable, appetizing wise for us to say, okay, yes, because you've got these 5 contracts, we are more amenable to lending, to this organization. So it's something that is relevant in regards to assisting in the loan process. It's not, again, it's not a condition, it's not required, but it's something that would definitely help in regards to getting you what you're asking for.
Oh, went too far. That's okay. This is just a little slide about questions. We do have one question in the chat.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
It says, once the credit building process has been satisfied, would the business now be able to obtain a larger loan? And go ahead if you want to answer, Bernard.
Yes, that is possible. If you do a credit builder and you are very successful in regards to having paid that back, yes, it then is a very amenable in reference to you and whomever, in regards to being able to then come back and get another loan through us. And that's also the case, even if you do happen to get a loan, even on a larger scale. It's also able, because we want to help your business to succeed. So even if it's beyond the credit builder, if it's something that's in the 15, 20, or $30,000 realm, if you're then 12 months, 18 months, 24 months into your loan and all is going well, there are times that you can come back based upon the situation. It's not, every situation business wise is different, of course, but we are able to allow you to, you're allowed to come back and apply for additional funds if need be. So yes, to answer your question, we can do that.
And then Catherine, I meant to mention this in the beginning. We service all the Eastern Shore of Maryland. So Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County. So that is our lending map as well. So all of our services, we can provide services to people in that area. So all the Eastern Shore of Maryland, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Anne Arundel County. And our main office is here in Salisbury with an office in Baltimore as well.
And any other questions? And Miss Nixon, it's good to see you as well. I see Nicole Nixon is on. It's good to see you. Mm-hmm. And it's good to see everybody. And we're happy that you're here. Please ask away any questions that we have, because we are here to assist and work with you, because we've got a few $1 million that needs to be allocated this year. And, a lot of individuals, people do not know that we even exist. And in regards to answering your question, Dr. Stewart, you want to start this process. You start with going online at marylandcapital.org and filling out our client intake form. That's the initial step.
Yes, and if you're already a client, then you just contact me if you're a woman. If you're a man, just contact Bernard directly and we can get you started. I put our emails in the chat. or you can always give us a call, and I'll put the phone number in there as well.
And I think the question was asked also too, based upon categories of business industry wise. I mean, we're pretty much open in a number of areas, categorically. If you don't mind me asking who asked that question, what area of industry are we talking?
Well, I don't know. That was me, I guess, because
Oh,
I thought that's what you were referring to in terms of areas, not geographical, but lines of business.
Uh-huh.
So we're in the maritime
Oh, okay.
industry,
Yeah.
and okay, and
Fishery
and in
maritime,
hun,
fishery maritime,
couldn't hear that first word.
fishery in regards to maritime.
Well, we're going to be actually working with information technology and
Oh, okay.
boats, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So, so yeah, I did. Yeah, I don't think it would be an excluded,
Okay.
area, but I was curious to see if there were some kind of industries like that you did.
Oh yeah,
have
we're
discussion.
very much open to that. Do you currently have an executive summary or business plan on what you're speaking of?
Well, it's not polished yet, but yeah, we're actually in the Eastern Shore Innovation Center, one of the companies there.
Okay, I
So
know where you are. Okay,
yeah.
good. All right, yeah. What I would suggest, recommend is that go online to marylandcapital.org, and just to navigate everyone through. Once you get on marylandcapital.org, you're going to hit a button in the far. You're going to see a gentleman sitting in a nice little chair, and you'll see our logo at the top left of the screen. And if you just go a little bit to the right, you're going to see one of the button words that says services. And when you see that word services, you'll put your cursor over it. Don't click on it, just put your cursor over it. Once you put your cursor over it, you'll see a drop down box, and you'll see a drop down box that'll say business loan application. And it'll have three choices, but choose the business loan application. Don't click on that one, just put your cursor over it. And once you put your cursor over it, you'll see another drop box come down, and put your cursor on loan application, and that's when you click on loan application. And then once you click on loan application, the loan application screen will come up, and you will see various bullet point options that will allow you to first choose the client intake form, and then under the client intake form, you'll see the business loan application. But do not do that one. The order has to be changed. Do the personal intake supplement second, and then the business loan application third. That's the order in regards to that we operate in, based upon receiving and how it all works. And it's easy to navigate yourself through, and everything that you fill out, every single box has to be filled in. Nothing can be left blank. So if it's something that has to be editorial with a letter, if it does not apply, you put N/A for non-applicable. And then if it's asking for a number and it does not apply to you, or if there's nothing to put in, you put 0. Every single box has to be filled, because when you go down to the bottom and then hit submit, if it's not filled in, it's not going to submit it to us. And now, the other suggestion that I would make as well, when you do get to the personal information supplement and it starts to ask you to download like your taxes, make sure you have that taxes wherever it may be on your system ready to download. Because there's one thing that is about our system, especially even when you get to the business loan application, we do not have a save button for our system. So when you're sitting in front of it and you're filling out all of the information, if you walk away from your computer and it goes into sleep mode and you come back, it may not be there and you have to start all over again. So we don't want you to get frustrated in saying that. So I'm just letting you know in advance. So when you sit down and you're getting ready to definitively fill out everything, make sure you have the taxes. Make sure you have your business plan. Make sure you have everything that we're going to need. Bank statements, if you're going to upload. Those are the 3 areas based upon application that are required to be uploaded. So then there's other things that it does ask if you want to upload, but it's not 100% required for the system to receive your application. But when you sit down, there is no save button and say, okay, I'll come back to it later. No, if you come back to it later, all will be lost and you'll have to start all over again. Yes, there is, Catherine, an application fee. It's $125 individually. That covers the application as well as having your credit also ran. Now, if it's two of you and you have a partner, it's an additional $25 per person that's partnered with the business as well. So if it's two of you or three of you, it would be either $150 if it's two or $175 if it's three, and so on. Additional $25 for each party that is a part of the partnership. But no, this, again, I cannot stress enough. We have $4+ million that we need to allocate this year alone. It's not all, it's not at the point where if we don't use it, we lose it. But no, we want to help the women and persons of color on the Eastern Shore in Anne Arundel County, Baltimore City, and Baltimore County. We've got to move this money. So start moving your ideas with your business.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that's calendar year.
Can I ask a quick question? I saw that, I know that credit is always a question, but being in the technology space, I'm in the telecom and technology space, and already having challenges obtaining capital. If we are also forced to maintain a favorable credit score, it may become even more challenging to qualify for your program, right? So, and let me be the first to say, as an entrepreneur that's been doing this now for 12 years, the longer we have to do it alone, the harder it is, where we may not ever qualify. So how do we get to a place where we're suitable to fit the criteria and still be able to function as a business?
Well, I'll say this to you, and Nicole, it's great to see you. And please forgive me for not calling you back right away because I've been traveling extensively.
Add it as a credit with my application.
Okay. Well, please forgive me. I have been
You're fine.
I've been traveling extensively, and literally, this is my first week and a half back. So I've been.
No, I saw you here, so I knew this would be a good time to connect.
But and to answer your question, we do, of course, look at credit. We don't, so to speak, adhere to the score. We look at the actual payment history, and we look at the debt to income ratio.
Gotcha.
That's what we look at. So it's not something where we're a generated system that's automatically going to kick it back and say no. We are doing that internally, and then we make the assessment in that regard. So it's not automatically where we're going to say just because, you know, you've got, say, for instance, and we've seen them. Trust me, we saw one the other day for 380. I didn't think it went down that low. So you know, you know, but
that gives us all hope.
Yeah. You know, so but it's one of those things where we had someone who had 521, and that 521, based upon their financials and everything else, got approved. So it varies, you know, on a case by case basis.
Okay, that's good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so it's not like don't think that you're going to be rejected. And see, that's the trepidation, unfortunately, that most people have, especially because you're dealing with the statistic that I know that 60% have under 600 in the United States. You know, so it's like that's one of the main concerns, and hence why also this organization, that was another reason why this organization was created, because, you know, there was challenges in the marketplace when they walked in the banks. And it's not, say, for instance, because of the fact that they have poor history. And this is the other thing that people have to understand. Your credit utilization and you could be paying on time all the time. But if your credit utilization is above 60%, your credit score is going to be mediocre at best, somewhat. And people don't understand that. And unfortunately, the system the actual generated system automatically, if you're under 600, it automatically makes you a fair credit rating, if not poor credit rating, because of your credit utilization. And a lot in regards to credit is not really explained to individuals to help them in that vein. But again, we look at the total picture, not just because if we get something that says, 580, 600, 540, 550. No, we look at the total picture of the history. Is there any?
Thank you so much.
Yes, Catherine, I was answering now. It's 125 for the application and the credit report combined. And there is a checklist. It is right on the website, but I can send it to you as well. So if you want to put your email in the chat, I can just email that to you, the direct link to it on the website. And where Bernard was telling you where the loan application is, I can send you the link for that as well.
And I always say, ladies, also too, this is one thing that I come from the venture capital side of business, and MCE tapped into me to assist them in this realm because of experience and not having to train me, and I'm working with them very joyously and happily. And Lisa makes the sunshine of my day happen every day. So, but it's one of those things where, when you're asking for what you're asking for, we get this where people will come in and say, well, we ask them how much do they need. They say, I'll need somewhere between, I just only need 25 to 30 or $40,000. To me, that's a red flag, because, and this is the reason why it's a red flag. First and foremost, ask for what you want and what you need. Do not have any hesitancy at all. Walk in with authority. I need $40,000 or $50,000, but be able to back it up. But stand with authority. Do not have, do not quiver about what you're wanting. Don't be afraid to ask for it. It's what's going to make your business. It's what you need for your business to be sustained. And the other thing is, too, I've heard people say, again, being like a shrinking violet, so to speak, I only need 15,000, and they know they need 50,000. Don't second guess, and don't, cut yourself short because of the fact, what is it going to take to keep your business, sustain your business, and keep you in business? Is, if 15,000 is going to keep you in business, but you need 50,000, I got to hire this other person to help me, and I'm going to need inventory, or I'm going to need, whatever it is to make my business shine. Don't just settle. No, ask for what you want that's going to make it happen. That's one of the worst business mistakes that any entrepreneur can make, because they're doing what they can just to try and think to sustain, and then all of a sudden you're 6 months in and you knew you needed $50,000. You only asked for 15. That 15 is only going to last you 2.5 months, and you still got 6 months before the year is out, and you don't have the money to keep it going. And then you're going to find yourself struggling, and then you're going to find yourself in the hole, and then all of a sudden you're going to find yourself late in payments and find yourself and then eventually out of business. No, ask for what you need for your business to make it happen.
Is there such a thing? I'm reading this to you, Bernard. Is there such a thing as a business revolving line of credit, like a HELOC, to be able to tap into as you need it, repay as you go?
No, we actually don't offer that. We are a lender type business. We are not something that does lines of credit. And once, it's a term situation where it could be, if you're doing a business loan, it could be at a minimum of 5 years. We normally only like to go up to 10 years on mainly in that regards. We are anywhere from 5 to 12% on our terms. But we unfortunately know we don't do any type of lines of credit, in that regards that's revolving. We are not credit card merchant based in that realm.
Right, and then there's another comment in the chat. If you ask for 50K, but you only are approved for 30K, is that an option when you really needed 50 to sustain your business, like you were just talking about?
Well, the normal aspects of that is that if you're asking for 50K, we don't come around and then say, the majority of the time, we do not say, oh, well, we will give you this amount. No, we look at what your business needs are based upon that amount, because we then in turn figure out saying, okay, you really need this amount. This is not going to really work for your business, to that end. We don't, I'm saying this personally. I'm not just saying it, in representation of CE. You don't want to get something that's just going to be a band-aid for your situation.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're going and you're asking, we can offer other alternatives, but in the same token, we're not just going to give you something and say, okay, we can do this amount, but instead of this amount, that's like saying, with you saying, or with the, any individual saying, I really need 50, but I'm only going to ask for 20. We don't work in that capacity.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
And maybe, because I think this is where I think some of us have had some confusion. When we are looking at obtaining capital, how much capital, or what type of capital should we be preparing for? Meaning, should we be looking for enough capital to manage our monthly expenses plus so many months in the future? And if so, is it 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, or just enough to get us to that next customer?
I always ask people this when they say, for instance, when someone comes to me and they ask, and again, this is coming from the venture capital side of me. People would come to me and say, oh, we only need $1 million. And then I ask them 2 or 3 questions. And one of the key questions I ask them, do you know what your burn rate is going to be?
Okay.
And they look at me like I'm from another planet, because it's something that you cannot really calculate. And when I say your burn rate, do you know how quickly you're going to go through money each day?
Right.
Especially even with the unforeseeable
Correct.
situations that may come along. I mean, there's going to be uncontrollable costs that happen within your business unexpectedly.
Correct.
I say to people always that if you're going to, even if it's from an investor, if you project and you say that I'm going to need, $1 million, I always say to people, you really need 150% of that, more than that. So if you're asking for $1 million, you actually are going to need $1,500,000.
Gotcha.
Because you want enough that's going to keep you in business. I always say, take a rule of thumb of, you want to, any business needs to be in business to show people, to get people on board with them as a customer for 3 years. You need sustainability money that's going to keep you operational to that end. Now, I'm not saying this for MCE. I'm not saying this is just because I'm an entrepreneur outside of the fact of being here at MCE. When I've gone and got loans, I made sure I got enough that's going to keep me running for a minimum of 2 years, a bare minimum, but up to 3. And if I had to also take payments out of that money that I got for 3 years to make sure that those payments are on time, I also did that, because I want to be able to stay in business, because you never know when the lean years or the lean months or whatever may have you is going to come.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
That's right.
You got to think sustainability. Anything can happen with the economy that you see as how the economy has fluctuated, and in the realm that we're in, you don't know what's going to happen. And business is going along really well, and you're 9 months in, and then all of a sudden, 3 or 4 months down the road after that, bam, things have closed up. I mean, nobody expected COVID, and look what happened. And look what the government had to do. Look what some people there are a lot of companies a lot of entrepreneurs who went out of business because it was unexpected. They weren't expecting it to go as long as it did.
That's right. I don't think anybody expected that. And so many people were in dire straits. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Another question. You mentioned it's a 5-year minimum. Does that mean there's a penalty for paying off early? No, there's no.
There's no prepayment
Here
penalty.
if you like, or 6 months even. However soon you want to do it, there's no penalties for paying off early.
And of course, as a lender, we love that. And that then in turn makes me come back and say, okay, how much more you need? So I come back after that and say, we're ready to still lend you more in the future.
Exactly.
So I should be hearing from everybody that's on here today. You should be calling me as of when I finish this whole thing. And by the next week, I'm gonna be flooded with loans. Now, just to give you some additional information, we have a time frame of how we work. Our loan committee only meets once a month. And it's a time frame that's normally at the end of the month. So when people ask, how long does it take the process is between 5 and 7 weeks. And that gives you enough time to be able to compile all of the files that are needed, from your taxes to your bank statements, personal and business, and as well as having your business plan put together, your cash flow, your financials in that regard, all compiled together. Yes, it does take that long, because when I see statistically on the percentile side, everybody that says that they're going to get everything in quickly always turns into a 3-week, 4-week minimum for them to getting everything to us. And if it goes past the time frame of when the loan committee meets, you have to wait till that end of that next month. Yes, 5-7 week loan process. Please remember that. So right now, say for instance, today is the 12th, and you want to start the process, I would behoove you today to go on our website and fill out the client intake form and fill out the personal information supplement, get your business plan and your taxes into us immediately. There's a possibility that I could get it in front of the loan committee by the end of this month. But if you don't, and if you wait until the end of next week, it's going to be the following month.
Mm-hmm. I also want to mention, Shelley mentioned the pro forma cash flow statement is also a good way to start gauging when you will run low on cash. In case you didn't see that in the chat.
Exactly.
Shelley.
Thank you, Shelley Gross Wade. 100 girl. That is so true. So again, we're here to help you in every way that we can, because we, of course, want to help you as ladies, persons of color, and as just in regards to business, because you got to feed our economy, and I just came from thank you as well for the shout out.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna let you go out and enjoy this beautiful day at some point, hopefully.
Wait. Hold on before you shut down. I just saw one of my close church family members, John Edward Jones, is on this call. Hey, Uncle John. You're on mute. I can't hear you, but it's good to see you. Good to see you, my brother. But thank you, everybody. We are here to assist you in getting you to the next level. And again, in closing, I can't emphasize enough. Do not have the spirit of fear at all. You're going to be successful, but you gotta make that step to make it happen. That's the thing.
That's
Look,
right.
I'll give you one last story in closing. When I went out on my own, you know what provoked me to be an entrepreneur? I got fired from 2 jobs, and that was 2 jobs too many. It forced me out, but I said when the second, and it wasn't one was the first one was I got fired. The second one I got laid off. And after that layoff, I said I'm not gonna have nobody telling me if and what and how I'm gonna be able to get work and or get paid ever again. And I did it what I call the old-fashioned hard way. I went and beat the pavement streets of New York City and made it happen by the grace of God. But I would say to anybody, you know, if you're an entrepreneur, go out there and make it happen. You can do it. You can do it. Wake up every single morning, look in the mirror and say, this is the day. And it's going to be this way every day. And I will conquer and it will be successful. And we at MCE are here to help you with that success.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
If you need anything.
All right. Have a great remaining week. If you have
Yes.
any questions, please give us a call. But I expect in 48 hours or less to see them client intake forms coming in from my director of operations. So don't play with me. I know where you live. I got your numbers all right here in front of me. I know exactly where you are. Okay?
He's a
Thank you, guys.
mess.
So really, thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.
See ya.
See you later.